From Leonard Garcia having judges on his side to Conor McGregor getting a second-round TKO, here are some UFC fights that were allegedly fixed. And first, the UFC 285 fight between Jon Jones and Cyril Gane, which has been the subject of controversy, with some fans and analysts accusing the fight of being fixed. These allegations are based on several factors, including the fighters' reputations, the way the fight played out, and statements made by other fighters. Now, Jones is widely considered one of the best MMA fighters of all time. Gane is a relatively new fighter with less experience and a less impressive record, but most fans and analysts still expected Gane to win the match easily, as Jones was returning from a 3-year-long break.
All you prayer warriors out there, I felt you so strongly all week, and I just want to thank each and every one of you who prayed for me.
This led them to question whether the fight was rigged in Jones's favor. Then, the way the fight played out has also contributed to the allegations of foul play. According to some reports, Gane seemed hesitant and tentative in the early minutes of the round, while Jones was more aggressive and effective. This could be interpreted as Gane deliberately holding back or not putting forth his best effort, which would be consistent with a fixed match scenario. To add to that, statements made by other fighters have fueled speculation about the fight being fixed. Colby Covington, a controversial fighter in the UFC, claimed in an interview that the Jones vs. Gane fight was scared and fixed. While Covington's statements are not proof of foul play, they've added to the rumors and speculation surrounding the fight. Just like Jones and Gane, Leonard Garcia was also accused of fixing his fights. The main reason for these allegations is the bias that judges seem to have towards him. Despite controversial and close fights, Garcia was often awarded victories that many fans and analysts believed he did not deserve. His fighting style was that of a brawler who would absorb a lot of punishment and then deliver powerful strikes. While his fights were often exciting, they were also contentious. Some fans and commentators believed that Garcia was given victories that he did not earn because of the bias of the judges toward him. In his fights with Jamil Masu and Chan Sung Jung, Garcia was awarded victories even when the majority of fans and analysts believed that he had lost. This has led to speculation that the judges were influenced by outside factors, such as financial incentives or pressure from promoters. These allegations have persisted even after Garcia's retirement from the sport and have had a lasting impact on his legacy. Most of his legacy is surrounded by controversy. Speaking of controversy, Leo Kuntz vs. Taehyun Bang was a highly controversial fight that took place at UFC Fight Night 79 in 2015. Many fans and experts have accused the fight of being fixed, and it's not hard to see why. The fight saw Kuntz, an underdog, defeat Bang, who was heavily favored to win. There were several moments during the fight that raised eyebrows among fans and analysts. First of all, there was the fact that Kuntz managed to survive a brutal knockdown in the first round. Many fans believe that he should have been knocked out cold, but somehow he managed to get back up and continue fighting. I mean, I guess he wasn't punching that hard then. Another suspicious aspect of the fight was the odd betting patterns leading up to the event. Just before the fight, there was a significant amount of money placed on Kuntz to win, which raised questions about insider knowledge or manipulation of the odds. No one places money on an underdog, not an amount that's noticeable anyway. Apart from that, in the second round, Bang appeared to let Kuntz take him down to the ground. This was surprising, given that Bang was known for his excellent takedown defense. Once on the ground, Kuntz was able to secure a submission victory, which many fans found highly suspect. That's not where the odd betting patterns stopped. Derek Minner vs. Shailin Nordembika also had some odd betting patterns leading up to the fight, which caught the attention of fans and analysts.
In the black. This fight clock is brought to you by proper number 12 Irish whiskey.
A large amount of money was placed on Nordembika just before the event, which has raised suspicion among some. Minner had a 6-fight winning streak heading into the bout and was considered by many to be the favorite, so the sudden influx of bets on Nordembika is notable. It's also possible that the people placing the bets had inside information, or were part of a larger scheme to manipulate the fight's outcome. Another reason for people to think the fight was fixed was due to a video that surfaced online showing Minner seemingly tapping out before Nordembika had fully applied the choke.
Nordembika hammered away.
Well, that'll throw anybody off here being the first minute.
The video has since been removed, but it was enough to spark suspicion among some fans. There have been several other high-profile fights over the years that have raised similar suspicions, one of them being the infamous Tito Ortiz versus Chael Sonnen fight.
Fight hard, but fight clean. If you want to touch gloves, touch them now. Good, step back, good luck.
Not a chance.
This bout took place at Bellator 170 in 2017, and it definitely had people talking. Some viewers believed that the fight was predetermined, and that the outcome had already been decided before the two fighters stepped into the cage. The suspicion that the Ortiz versus Sonnen fight was fixed arose due to a few factors. Both fighters were considered past their prime, and had not been in top form leading up to the fight. This raised questions about whether the fight was a legitimate competition or simply a spectacle to attract viewers. On top of that, Ortiz had previously worked with the owner of Bellator, Scott Coker, which led to concerns that there could have been conflicts of interest or undue influence in the decision-making process. During the fight itself, there were a few moments that raised suspicions among viewers, when Sonnen appeared to give up his back to Ortiz quite easily, and there was a perception that he did not put up much resistance when Ortiz went for the rear naked choke. Some also believed that his celebration after the win was overly theatrical and scripted, further fueling the conspiracy theory. But there's been no concrete evidence to support the idea that the Ortiz versus Sonnen fight was fixed. Both fighters have consistently denied any wrongdoing, and officials involved in the fight have maintained that the bout was conducted fairly. But that's not all. The next fight involves the biggest names in the UFC. Yep, it's Conor McGregor and Eddie Alvarez's fight at UFC 205. McGregor, the featherweight champion at the time, moved up to lightweight to take on Alvarez for his title, and his performance was nothing short of dominant, as he completely overpowered Alvarez throughout the fight and eventually claimed the victory via TKO in the second round. This made him the first ever fighter in UFC history to hold two belts at the same time. But there are plenty of skeptics who believe that the fight was rigged. One of the main arguments against the legitimacy of the fight is that Alvarez didn't put up enough of a fight, and McGregor's dominance was almost too easy. The Irishman landed 51 significant strikes compared to Alvarez's meager 11, and it seemed as though Alvarez was intimidated by McGregor. Another point of concern for some is Conor's previous tension with UFC president Dana White. He'd been vocal about his disagreements with the UFC, even going so far as to retire at one point. Some speculate that the UFC fixed the fight as a way to keep McGregor happy and retain him within the organization. And that, folks, is all for the UFC fights that were allegedly fixed.